Hello, I'm Dr. Sri Banerjee, core faculty for the College of Health Sciences and Public Policy at Walden University. And in this video, I'll be going a little bit more in depth into understanding big data. For starters, big data is being introduced into healthcare, but we've been actually within the revolution of big data for a long time. Now the curve is even steeper when looking at the number of places that are looking for talent in big data. So it's worth your while for you to take some time to read through this. I'm going to go over this quickly. I don't want to belabor any point, but just kind of go through this paper, which was published in the European Journal of Public Health. I've actually published in here, and benefits and challenges of big data in healthcare, an overview of the European initiatives. So for those of you who maybe who are not viewing this video, maybe you're listening to it through podcast, there is a lot of information that is in big data that is going on. So another point that I want to make here is that a lot of what big data is no longer considered big data, as in just volume. So big data is not necessarily an indication of volume. It's just a way that people understand data. They can apply this, even if it's a specialized technique. And the authors go over this. Her name, the main author, Roberta Pastorino, and colleagues, what they found is that when they do specific searches, then they get a specific result. So there's a lot of big data that is available. So scrolling down here, I'm going to scroll down a bit so that we can see the rest of the article. Again, massive volume of healthcare to invest in the human capital to guide citizens into this new frontier of human health and well-being. So this present work reports an overview of practical initiatives in Europe. And so this is all applicable to any place in public health and oncology sectors aimed to generate new knowledge. So going backwards or into the introduction and understanding how data is actually something that is collected already in day-to-day lives. And so the range and use of machine learning, of big data, is machine learning and engineering to economics and medicine. So the disciplines are widespread. Even though we're talking about public health here, that is not necessarily what will give you the only sort of application of big data. So how does big data analytics connect to health systems? Well, traditionally in 2011, the perspective was there's only a yottabyte, and of course 150 exabytes of data in 2011. So these are volumes in high concentration, or excuse me, just voluminous data. So starting with the collection of individual data elements and moving to the fusion of heterogeneous data. And that's more challenging to work with heterogeneous data because there's a lot of model sort of considerations that you have to make before you can create a model that is well informed of the situation that is going on. So there's a definition for big data, and so McKinsey comes with big data referring to data sets whose size is beyond the ability of typical database software tools to capture, store, manage, and analyze. Gartner proposed in the popular definition of big data, so he uses the 3 V's that we're so familiar with. So big data, not only is it volume, it's important to know it's high velocity and high variety information. Trying to accommodate all this variety is oftentimes challenging through traditional regression models and traditional regression models and other areas. The fourth dimension that they add for big data is veracity, concerning the quality, authenticity, and trustworthiness of data. So GIGO, you probably have heard of it, garbage in, garbage out. This is something that statisticians love to say, and kind of makes sense. So however, its potential value is unlocked only when leveraged to drive decisions and decision making and to enable such evidence-based decision making. It is. So again, let's go back up here. Again, it is necessary to have efficient processes to analyze and turn high volumes of data into meaningful insight. So another point that really pops out here is that there's a lot of a variety of information which is extremely difficult to keep track of. Again, this goes into, I don't want to belabor any point, but I want you to really read big data in public health, because this is an area that needs a little bit more work. However, great importance is placed on the need of using data and new information and communication technology in public health to improve quality and prevention and care. In the next years, European health systems must respond more efficiently to the exponential increase of chronic patients, identifying the most efficient interventions and releasing the full potential of information communication technology. So the e-health platforms that many European governments are trying to implement can be effective in improving the management of chronic patients in the community setting by interfacing between different healthcare providers and specialists within the patients. So there's a lot of a plethora of sources of potential sources of data that are available, and these are oftentimes at the level of the data set that's produced, all built into one, especially if this is a nationally representative data set. So finally, it ends with some of the data sets that are wonderful in Europe, and it's good to acquire these. However, there might be more heterogeneity than others. Another area that is oftentimes good to explore is the Demographic Health Survey, the DHS, and this has an abundance of data points in terms of looking at not only HIV, but also literacy and mother-to-child transmission of HIV. So that is oftentimes a major issue if the mother is potentially is HIV positive, and not every case actually goes to that level, but it makes sense. And then just finalizing some of these big data discipline-wise. So big data in oncology is very well known. So Comprehensive Cancer Centers, one of 13 cancer centers in Germany. So this is a different way of approaching cancer policy. And then the Individualized Therapy for Relapsed Malignancies in Children, that is known as INFORM. And this registry aims to address relapses of high-risk tumors in the pediatric patients. So there's also whole genome RNA sequencing. So as we move forward and go through this, understanding what types of other applications big data may have on medicine, there's quite a few sort of solutions that are being proposed in this. Not too many pages, goes into quite a few European data sets, so take a look at that. And then some of these extensively created data sets from various countries It's really intriguing. So on January 2017, the Consultative Committee of the Council of Europe's Data Protection Convention adopted. So protection of data, so at least big data is being considered. So it's guidelines on the protection of individuals with regard to the processing of personal data in a world of big data. So concluding thoughts, thinking about big data, it's beginning to revolutionize healthcare in Europe, as it probably will be in the United States. It offers paths and solutions to improve health of individual persons, as well as to improve the performance and outcomes of healthcare systems. So with that, I'm going to leave you, and I'm going to go over, let you go over some of the concluding thoughts. This is just as important. I've read Italian studies before, and a lot of the studies, there's a rich amount of data available, and many of the good papers come from Italy as well. So this is a European perspective. Just take some time and take a look. Thank you for listening.